Fins up, only fans, but with a PH. You heard? Yo. White, orange, and teal. The fins look real, you know what's the deal. There's blood, sweat, and tears. All up in his huddle with water to cook up a meal. My coaching in two with the combo was chill. Play action to chase, got hunger to feel. The cheetah is loose, he's going for blood. The end of the race only went for the kill. Miami, the city, the county, the block. We steady unpacked, tail getting the lot. Defense is strong and hard as a rock. Holland's a lock, and next one's a spot. Getting too hot, so turn up the fan. You look to the crowd, see Jimmy and Bam. Martin, Joe, and Sosa the mans. Your fellas, roll the clip, only fans.
Yo, what's going on, y'all? It's your boy So, and welcome back to the channel for another week of OnlyFans, a Dolphins post-game show with reaction, analysis, and a whole lot of heart. Now, before we get this party started, we ask that you hit the like button on this video, make sure you're subscribed to the channel, and turn on the post notifications. That way you catch our next video. Now, with me today for today's post-game recap, you know him, you love him, the co-host of Sports with So. We got my main man, Joel, in the building. What's going on, Joel?
What's going on? So I'm a little heartbroken, to say the least, but I'm here, dog. I'm here.
I hear you, brother. I hear you. And of course, we got the skeptical number one Skylar Thompson fan in the building, Martin Ortega from Tune Out. Martin, what's up, my bro?
I'm doing good, man. It wasn't a pretty game to watch, but it's week 4. What are you gonna do?
Week 4 indeed, man. And this game was a little bit rough, right? We knew that it was going to be a challenge. We knew that we were going to be coming up a formidable opponent, right? And we knew that in order for us to really kind of gauge on how well we're playing right now at the moment, we would have to gauge a performance against a tough team like the Buffalo Bills. Unfortunately, it did not go well for us today. The Dolphins walk away with a 48-20 loss up in Buffalo. And, right out the gate, we could tell that Buffalo's offense was really formidable as they drove straight down the field, 8-play drive, and then they ended up scoring on a Gabe Davis touchdown, to go up 7-zip. Tua and company, they kind of responded quickly, came right back down the field, responded with a touchdown. We saw the rookie, A-Chan, get another touchdown run to tie up the game. Tua was throwing the ball a lot early. And I'm kind of wondering what your guys' thought are on the beginning of the game. Joel, let's start with you.
I mean, the beginning of the game started how I thought it was going to start. Buffalo at Buffalo, crazy rowdy crowd. They're hyped. They're 4 games, 3 games in already. They're, kind of feeling themselves a little bit. They knocked us out of the playoffs last year. They've been running the division. They got nothing to prove, but at the same time, they got everything to prove. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Especially after we dropped 70 on the Broncos last week at home. And it started off, it's not great to see our defense let them just have their way with us on that first drive, but it was nice to see our offense respond with a similar drive. Because we tout, the Bills defense and how great they are, but for us to be able to go down the length of the field, not just once, but twice, because we did that. We kind of exchanged back and forth for the first 4 drives there. That was reassuring, because it's like, all right, we know Buffalo, we know what they're capable of, but now we're showing them that we can hang with them. At least that's how I felt at the beginning of the game.
Well, I kind of felt like we were forcing the throw a little bit too much, too early. I didn't really see a commitment to the running game like we saw in previous games this year. Martin, I'm interested to see what your thoughts were on the beginning of the game.
I guess for the most part, you like what you saw from the offense, but I feel like we tried to play their game. We were just dropping back, passing the ball. We were doing so well last week and the week before running the ball. I felt like although it was 14-14, you want to establish something that's not just – we ended up passing a lot. So I'm not – hey, again, there's nothing negative to say about how we came out. Like, we came out good. Offense was looking great. Defense didn't look good the first quarter at all. They just punched us in the mouth. That's basically what they did in the first quarter, and we came back. But you're not going to have an answer for a full game versus the Bills away. It's not going to happen.
No, for sure. And we can see here by a change first touchdown, he was running as hard as he could. He had as much a great performance on the ground as you can expect, right? He had 8 carries for 101 yards, including a really long run for 55 yards. He was willing to put up, some type of fight up against the Bills because, as we continued to drive the ball and we saw Buffalo come down and score again, right? They had 3 straight running plays inside the 10-yard line. after Murray's long run to go up 14-7. Even though Mostert made a nice catch in the next drive, a chain with another touchdown, that was pretty much the entirety of the Dolphins offense, right? We saw A-Chain really running hard and doing the best that he could, as we see him scoring here his second touchdown, courtesy of the Dolphins and NFL on CBS. Joel, give me a little bit on what you like what you're seeing from the rookie so far.
It was a silver lining for this horrendous cloud of a game. This was, the one bright spot that we can look at and say, all right, well, you know what? Everything else was dog shit, but H-Han looked great, and that's the second consecutive week where he looks phenomenal. So it's reassuring, that our rookie is having the kind of couple games that we're having, especially for against a tough, Buffalo Bills defense. I just wish we would have been able to see a little bit more of that. We just couldn't really get into a rhythm outside of those first couple of drives. The Buffalo Bills D looked a lot better than anything we faced so far this season.
Absolutely.
So I'm hurt, dog. I'm hurt.
Martin, I have an interesting question for you. Based on his performance today, and the fact that Mostert did have 2 costly fumbles, even though we only lost 1, is H-N really creeping into that starting role position for you?
No, not at all. To me, he is going to be the change of pace back as we've used him. I just, as Joel said, it was a silver lining. But can you really be happy about a silver lining if it only had 8 carries? I hated the fact that he got although one run was 50 yards alone. You're going to tell me he got 50 yards on 7 carries and you only give him 8 carries the whole game?
Right.
Of course you're not going to have a balanced attack. So, no, I don't think it's going to eat into Mostert's carries. I feel like he's still going to be that guy in the goal line that gets the ball. And we are probably going to spread it out and give A-Chain those draws and change-ups in the red zone. But I think overall Mostert is still the guy you want on, passing downs, ones you're going to trust, dump-offs, just because he is the more, I guess, experienced veteran. I do think, again, going forward, A-Chain's going to eat into everything he does, but will he be the starter? I don't see it. The fumbles doesn't help, obviously, so that needs to be cleaned
definitely
up.
Doesn't help Mostert's case.
No, I think that again, if we're looking at it subjectively, right? Like, of course, it doesn't mean that Mostert to lose his job, right? Not after 2 fumbles and being such a great running back that he has been with us, but if A-Chan continues to perform week in, week out, even with limited amount of carries, like 8, and still posting 100 yards and a touchdown, it's gonna start to bring up a lot of noise as far as who's the number 1 or the most productive back in the backfield. And we also haven't seen Jeff Wilson Jr. Make his return yet. That's another guy that we're gonna be counting on and towards the rest of the season. I want to flip it over to the defense side, because right after we scored that second touchdown, they came right back. Diggs had that long play where he caught the pass interference. He caught a first pass for a first down. Then on the very next play, he draws a pass interference on Kader Kohu, and shit just went down the drain from there, I feel like, for the Dolphins. They went up 21-14 after the Diggs touchdown catch, and it felt like the Dolphins defense completely stalled, and the defense was thriving for Buffalo. Martin, what do you think was the main reason for the stalling on the offense that we saw today? Because for me, it was just us not really putting the ball on the ground and trying to run it.
So stalling on our offense or stalling on their offense?
No, on our offense.
No, honestly, I just think we didn't have like a balanced attack. I think they just knew what was coming. They knew we were passing every down. So when you have that type of pressure with just 4-man blitz that the Bills normally do, and then you just have a good defensive stout secondary that can just man up on your players, and with a little help from your safeties, you don't really have much to worry about. Every man has its assignment. They don't really have to overdo anything because they expect you to pass the ball. When you expect that from a team, and your defense is as stable as it is, and they've been fully healthy this year so far, it's a different defensive team from last year. They were all hurt last year. This is one of the best defenses in the league, and they've showed it for the first 4 weeks. Everybody looks at week 1, the Jets game. They didn't give up points. It wasn't like it was just a bad offensive game from Josh Allen. They're not putting up. They don't know. We put up the most points this year versus the Bills, and that wasn't even a lot.
Yeah, Joel, tell me what your thoughts on today's defensive performance from the team.
I mean, bro, we got beat. We got beat, man. And it's like you said, once that Cater Cole where he was celebrating, thinking he had a nice stop, pass broken
What
up,
an
and it was
idiot.
pass interference, prime position for them to go on and score again. I was like, all right, bro, that's not good. Because if Stephon Diggs is covering him, why haven't we gotten Xavier Howard yet to that side? You know, if he's our best corner, like, you know, I understand that, like, you know, don't mess with his psyche, you know, let him get a second chance. But it's like when he got beat the second time, dog, it's like, all right, now we got to do something and switch it up here. And we weren't doing that. But all around, poor performance from the defense. We couldn't really get to Josh Allen, the front seven. You know, where was Chubb? Where was Wilkins? You know, where was Sealer? You know, no Jalen Phillips in this game. Out yet again, you know, where I'm starting to wonder if we're missing him, if, you know, we're starting to feel that. And then on the other side of the ball, you know, on the offensive side of the ball, we've been praising the O-line for 3 weeks, you know, protecting Tua, doing their job, giving him time to throw, you know, and this was not the case. We saw Tua get hit today more than he has all season. Granted, I know we're only 4 weeks in, but still, you know, that's a lot to say when we've played 3 other games, and today he was sacked more than all of those combined. And, you know, he took a couple hits there where I kind of cringed. I was like, oh, get down. Like, I don't want something bad to happen in a Buffalo game, dog. So, and then on top of that, Teron Armstead goes out. You know, he goes out of the game. No Connor Williams at center. We have Liam Eichenberg at center. You know, Robert Hunt, a couple penalties. I mean, the O-line was a little sloppy today. Didn't really, you know, I'm surprised that H-Han was able to, you know, get what he did with the performance that the O-line had.
Yeah, for sure. Me too, right? And that's kind of the things that I was looking at the most, right? As I'm looking at this game unfold, I'm noticing that the offensive line is losing the push battle. Every time we were snapping the ball, Buffalo's D line was pushing our guys all the way back. And you saw HN really making a lot of cuts behind the line of scrimmage to even get to the line of scrimmage and continue to push the ball forward. The defense as a whole definitely sucked. You know, it definitely straight up, it just sucked. And one guy you didn't mention was Wilkins. You know, I felt like he was.
I mentioned Wilkins.
All right, and I felt like he was 2 seconds too late on every single play. You know, where he's just reacting to the reaction already. One guy who was pretty much a standout yet again for the defense was Van Ginkel. This dude had the 2 sacks, I think, today. Played really well, covering not only the nickel as a slot and really making an impact behind the field and getting to Josh Allen whenever he could. You know, heading into halftime, we're down 31-14. They hit a field goal after the second Diggs touchdown. Tua gets sacked for the first time, and you know, we didn't convert on the third down, and we punted yet again. This was something that we hadn't seen too much from this Dolphins offense, where we have been forced to punt on so many occasions. That first half was pretty much ridiculous from an offensive standpoint for Buffalo. It was the most first half points they've scored ever. I think they had 17 unanswered points by Buffalo. The Dolphins lost a turnover battle in that first half, and we didn't establish the run at all.
I do want to say, I do want to say that we needed this slap in the mouth. Like, if everybody all these last 3 weeks has been so hyped, we're going to Vegas, all this shit, we needed to be slapped in the mouth by your big brother. That's what you needed. Everybody's like, Bills. This is our division. That's what they came to do. This is our division. They need to prove. They wanted to prove a point, and they did. We're not that physical team to go up against the Bills every week that we play them, especially at home. Like, they are, like, their D-line and O-line are physical team. Like, that is not like you're gonna walk all over us. When somebody hits Josh Allen, you see that O-line all come together and come up to anybody. That's the type of team they stand by. Like, that's the physical team they are. So I'm not surprised by the loss, by the loss. The ass whooping, whatever. It is what it is. But the loss, like, we went in thinking after 70 points versus the Broncos, which almost lost to the Bears. Or again, we can't hype off 3 weeks. We need to understand that this was needed for us to even do anything later in the season. We need
Joel,
to.
You agree that we needed that humbly?
I don't think we needed it. You know what I'm saying? I wish I needed to hit my bets today, dog. You know what I mean? And the Dolphins winning would have done that for me. But I kind of agree with Martin, dog. You know, it's early enough in the season. You know, we were kind of on a high horse there. Are we the hottest team in the AFC, or are we the hottest team in the NFL, period? Putting up 70, you know, and it's a reality check. Yeah, it's a real reality check for the Dolphins. I think Vic Fangio, more than anybody, needs to take a long look in the mirror and say, all right, what the hell are we doing with this team? We got a lot of talent. We got a lot of pieces. what can I do to get these guys to where they need to be and really set them up for success? Because I'm not loving what I'm seeing out of his schemes right now. There's been, some questionable calls already in the few games, and then today was just you saw it got exploited.
Yeah, for sure. And you know what? You're right. If you're taking all things into consideration, 20 points on the road against a tough Buffalo defense, that's pretty hard, right? And you would think that the game would have been a lot less scoring wise. But we couldn't stop Buffalo at all. And it felt like the offense had to score on every single possession. And even though they came out and scored on Braxton Berrios' touchdown, his first as a Miami Dolphin this year, wide open in the back of the end zone, it still wasn't, it didn't feel like we were fluid enough on offense to be like, all right, we can do this again, repeat this same action and get down the field. Right after that, Bills come down, kick a field goal. We force them to do that. And then we get the interception from Tua where he overthrows Robbie Chosen Anderson. Micah Hyde with the interception for Buffalo. And that, again, the second turnover of the game, we lose that turnover battle. And it felt like Buffalo took over from there. They went up 41-10, 41-20 for another touchdown that Diggs continued to haunt Kader Kohou this evening or this afternoon. How bad is Jalen Ramsey needed right now? And can we continue to throw out Kader for the next couple of weeks and put him out there? Tell me why we need Ramsey back, or can we throw Kader out there against the upcoming team in who do we play against?
The Giants.
The Giants.
You can put out me at corner and you could be good against the Giants. I'm not worried about that team.
I don't know.
All right, so Kohou, I think I pretty much mentioned it every week. I know we've all talked about it. Kohou has been the one that's been picked on. He's he's made the most out of the attention. So nothing big has played, but this is Stephon Diggs. This is the best receiver that he's really been picked on by. So it was only a matter of time that Kohou gets picked on, and it actually shown to the world that we do have a weak spot. I'm not saying he's a weak spot, but in essence, he is our weakest corner that we have right now, at least from the tandem that we have of him and Howard until Ramsey gets back. We knew Ramsey was going to be a big part to this defense when Fangio came. It was going to be, let me get my best guys to cover their best guy one-on-one, and then let everybody else on the team run wild. And that's not able to be done with Kohou as a starting quarterback.
Joel, what are your thoughts on that?
I mean, exactly. I got to jump on the bandwagon here with Martin.
What's going on here, dog?
It's true, man. He's been holding it down. Last year we saw what he did. He wasn't fully healthy, and he still made some plays. He earned the job now because Ramsey's out. And he did a decent job, the first couple of weeks. Last week, though, I want to say that Cortland Sutton had a couple cashes on him.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
The week before that, who did we play? I guess we played New England. Didn't have any major assignment to cover there because let's face it, their biggest threats are going to be their tight ends. And then the first week, who was he on? Who would it be? Keenan?
It was either Mike Williams. Yeah,
one of the two, and we know they put up points. I don't have the stats in front of me, but we know they put up points. So you see it when we need it. Most he's not really getting us the plays that we needed, especially against a guy like Xavier. I'm sorry, not Xavier Howard. Stephon Diggs. But we also saw breakdowns in the defense where the first touchdown that to Gabe Davis, bro, was a complete breakdown in our defense, bro. And he was wide open for that touchdown. So it's not just all Kohou. There's other,
of course not.
Other, miscommunications, miscues, things. And I think it also comes down to our D-line and our front seven. We weren't getting to Josh Allen. He had all day to throw that ball, bro. All day.
Absolutely. And look, that was one of the main things that I wanted to harp on the show, right? I was like, this is going to be a real check for us, because if we can't get to Josh Allen, and even when we get to him, if we can't bring him down, then it's going to cause chaos for us. And it did. There were so many times where he was able to extend the play and continue to find guys moving down the field and get the ball rolling and keep Buffalo's offense on the field and working the Dolphins defense at the same time. Speaking of Josh Allen, he scored the last touchdown on a design run, put the game away pretty much at 48-20 right there. After the Dolphins were able to get inside the Bills' red zone, 4th and goal, another Tua sack, unable to get the play off. And I'm frustrated that the offense had to look like this. I kind of disagree with your chain of thought earlier, Martin, where you were like, well, it's better that we got humbled. No, this was a real measuring stick for us to say, can we play with this team? Can we beat this team in their environment? Can we go out there and get the win? And we just showed ourselves that we can't. That we're still, I don't know how far behind, but we are behind.
We needed this because we haven't done anything and everyone's crowning us. Who the hell? Why are we the top in the AFC before this week happened? Why are we the one to win the division? Why? We haven't done anything, bro. You can look pretty. You can put up all the stats like I tell everybody. Until you bust someone's ass, they are big brother. We haven't bust their ass. We've barely beat them when we have. Let's do the same thing they've done to us all these years since Brady left the Patriots, and then we're that team. Right now, we're trying to be them. We're not them. That's it.
And now we got to wait all the way until January 7th before we get another rematch. You know what I mean?
That's great.
And we're definitely going to have to make the most out of that game. Joel, what do you think has to change immediately right now for the Dolphins in order for this team to bounce back and get a big victory, right, and look good like we've been accustomed to against the Giants?
The Giants, that's our next opponent.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not looking too great right now. But I think the biggest thing is we can't lose faith, we can't lose confidence, we can't panic right away. It's week 4.
Exactly.
We're 3-1. We're tied right now for the top of our division right now, or I guess we would be in second to Buffalo, with all things considered. It's not great to see them put that up on our defense. It's not great to see our offense not be able to respond. But right now we got a couple things ahead of us that we gotta focus on. Number one, we got to figure out that O-line. What's going on with Teron Armstead? How long is he going to be out? What's our backup plan? He didn't play the first couple games. Our O-line looked good. They didn't face a Buffalo, defense up until this week, and we saw what just happened. So we need to figure out that O-line because we see what happens when Tua doesn't have time to get rid of the ball. It means trouble. He's either going to make a bad decision, throw a pick, he's going to get hit, he's going to get hurt. We don't need that. We need him going through his progression. Like at the beginning of the game, man, there was one play where it was very early on. He went through all of his progressions one by one, and then boom, made the right decision. Perfect pass right on the money. He had time to throw that ball. So that's what we need to focus on immediately on the offensive side, on the defensive side. Holy shit, man. I mean, right now it's the secondary. We need to figure out that secondary. Our D-line might not get there. We might face some big, tough O-linemen. I think the Giants might have a pretty decent O-line. Maybe not. I'm not sure. But
no, horrible.
We need to make sure that if they're extending plays on us, that we don't let guys get in the secondary and on these broken plays and pick up first downs on third downs, converting third downs, which pisses me off more than anything, or extending the play for a touchdown.
I think the biggest deal that we got to look as far as a takeaway from this game is the fact that the offensive line and the defensive line both lost the battle today, right? The defensive line could not create any type of push. The offensive line could not contain any type of push. And we lost the line battle today handedly. And that's a big concerning thing for me because, like, as far as the defense goes, it's supposed to be our strong suit. And the fact that we couldn't create enough pressure to constantly get to one of the better quarterbacks in the NFL kind of worries me because, like, this is the competition that we're going to be facing. Martin alluded to it earlier. We're not always going to face cupcake offenses, right, with shambles on offensive lines. You're going to run into these really good offensive lines, and you're going to have to beat them. It didn't look like we had the capability of doing that. The offensive line issues are very troublesome right now. Armstead goes down with a knee injury. We don't know if he's going to be back in time. We don't know how the offensive line is continue to shape. Colin Williams missed the game. You know what I mean? Like, there are a lot of things that are now a question for this team. Even though we're 3-1 and statistically, in a really good shape as far as standings go to make the playoffs, we got to look at this team under a microscope and say, all right, where can we improve before this next game against the Giants? Because today was a very big piece of humble pie, and we ate it. 48-20, didn't see that coming. I wonder what the defense is going to do next, man. Martin, give me your thoughts on what the defense has to do in order to improve.
Man, the fuck up. This team, this defense, this D-line, you are, I believe, everybody's been paid recently. You guys need to earn your money. This is the first game I think they saw a real true O-line, a team with finesse, and they They were nowhere to be found. That defense, this is where it starts. If you can't put pressure on a quarterback like Josh Allen, forget what everybody else is doing. You could play man-to-man, great defense. Somebody's going to get open if you have all the time in the world. So unless they change that tomorrow, it doesn't matter what else happens in the linebacker, safety, or corner. The D-line is the biggest aspect of, or the biggest. It's with them or not.
It's the most important thing.
They don't step up. Yeah. They don't
we
step
need
up.
Jalen Phillips back, boys. We need Jalen back.
I don't know if it's just Jalen Phillips. What pressure other than we don't have anybody doing other than Ginkgo. I haven't seen anybody be consistent week in, week out. I haven't.
I agree, and you know who that guy needs to be. You know exactly who that guy needs to be.
I don't know, bro. That guy forgot he is Bradley Chubb because he hasn't been anybody for the first 3 weeks.
Well, hold on. If we're talking about him, then we also got to talk about Vic Fangio and how he's using these guys, right? Like the schemes were supposed to be working in order to get these guys, especially Chubb, in a position where he can dominate. And I haven't seen him dominate over and over again in the defensive line battle.
Is that Fangio's fault that he's not getting any? I don't know, man. There's only so much you could blame on a coach. We didn't see it much last year with Chubb, and you would hope Fangio was going to help him. And it's just is it Fangio or is it Chubb just not being consistent? Maybe he was in a different team with different guys on the D line of the Broncos that he was able to excel better. He had Von Miller one time that they had to worry about. Is it? Maybe we were wrong about Chubb. We don't know yet. Too early to tell. But that's a question mark.
I don't know, man. What do you think, Joel?
I brought it up, dog. So you know how I'm feeling. I don't know how I feel about the dude right now. It's a lot of money out there for a guy that I'm expecting to get a sack every single game, bro, and pressures on the quarterback every single game. And we really weren't getting, a whole lot of that. Like we said, Josh Allen, phenomenal performance from the Buffalo Bills at home, rightfully so. They gave their fans a show. They put us in our little brother's corner in our spot. And it sucks, man, especially because of the fact that the last time we faced him, all right, was back earlier this year in January in the wild card. Mm-hmm. And we lost by 3 points without Tua. And we had a healthy Tua, and we had all of our weapons, and we lost by a lot more than that.
I don't want to give them an excuse, but their whole DBs have been out all of last year. That has something to do with it. They're looking a lot healthier. Tre'Davious White got hurt, but at the end of the day, they were fully healthy until the blowout.
And we weren't necessarily the healthiest as well in our defensive back position, right? I'm sure that us having Ramsey on Diggs today in that slot position and letting Howard run around like crazy and having Kohu as a backup corner would have been the preferred method of attack against Josh Allen and company, but it didn't work out that way. We lose the game 48-20. We lose the division game. Like I said earlier, we're not going to see them again until January 7th. So until then, we're going to have to wait for our revenge, but we're going to have to continue to win games. And now we got to focus on the Giants, who's our next opponent. Fellas, give me one quick thought on what we can do to expose the Giants and get a win. Joel, why don't you start with us wrapping us up?
Let's get back to basics. I think Martin said something very poignant earlier in the show about what happened in this game against the Bills, and we tried to play Buffalo Bills football and not Miami Dolphins football. Last week that was Miami Dolphins football. We did what we wanted to. We were having fun with it. This week, maybe there was a little bit of pressure there, from the guys. This is the year, the media, the hype, all that came in with too many expectations, and we kind of, succumbed to that style of football, and it wasn't our style. So let's get back to basics. Let's play Miami Dolphins football, and we're going to get a W next week against the Giants.
I'd like to hear it. Martin, wrap up with your thoughts.
Keep that bad taste in your mouth until we play the Bills the last week of the season. That's what we need to play like. Like, we just ate some shit, and you need to fucking take it out on somebody. That's literally what we're going to do. We need to literally the Giants are horrible team. They came back up against the Cardinals 1 week. They're horrible. If we don't whoop their ass after what happened this week, then we're nobody. We need to whoop what the Cowboys did to the Giants week 1. That's what we need to do to them this week.
Agreed. I agree. Well, you guys couldn't have fucking said it any better. I think that's excellent point for Joel and Martin. Appreciate you guys joining us here on OnlyFans. Now, you guys know what to do for the rest of this episode. Go ahead and hit the like button. Drop a comment. Let us know what you guys thought about the game and our reaction to it. And, of course, you got to turn on the notifications so you catch our next video. Until next time, it's your boy So. Peace.